On divisional round weekend, the Buffalo Bills hosted the Baltimore Ravens in a showdown that few would have predicted at the start of the season, with a spot in the AFC Championship game on the line. The Ravens came into Buffalo with a high-flying offense that saw Lamar Jackson return to his MVP form from 2019 and a ferocious run game. It seemed like the Ravens hit their A-game at the exact right time, but on Saturday night in Buffalo, the Bills showed the entire league that they are as real of a contender as it gets, shutting down Baltimore's offense the entire game. In this video, I want to take a closer look at the Bills' game plan, their preparation and execution, and showcase how they dominated the Ravens team that was largely regarded to be an even match for them. The Bills are probably the most solid team in the league across all spots at the moment, and they are coached to perfection. Sean McDermott deserves every bit of the Coach of the Year award, and I'll demonstrate a specific example later when we look at how they worked out their offensive game plan. First play we're looking at is highlighting the defensive side of the ball for the Bills. One of their greatest strengths as a team is the versatility that comes with being so solid across the board. They're able to adjust what they're doing for each style of team they're facing, and against Baltimore the focus is clear. You want to get them into forced passing situations 2 to 3 times per drive and make those situations count with a big stop. Take Lamar Jackson away as a runner and make him make all the throws under pressure. And the perfect example came very early in the game on the Ravens' first offensive possession. It's 1st and 10 and Baltimore's in a gun split close formation, one of the bread and butter alignments for this kind of offense that can break runs every which way at any time. This time they call a pass play to switch it up and bring the far receiver in motion across the formation. Tre'Davious White at the top of your screen doesn't follow his man across. Instead, the entire defense shifts gap and zone coverage responsibilities. Additionally, they are bringing this beautifully timed corner blitz off the boundary side of the formation, with the will linebacker taking over the responsibilities for the flat with the motion across. And this blitz is disguised and executed to perfection. Not a single Raven sees this coming until Lamar Jackson is getting hit in the pocket. You see Levi Wallace, number 39, is lined up far off the line of scrimmage at first and starts creeping in as Jackson is already going through his cadence. He jumps the snap perfectly and barrels down into the backfield at full speed and completely unblocked. It's the timing that makes this play work. If he's too late, Lamar will have his receiver in the vacated space wide open, but this is calculated risk by the Buffalo defense. You bring the blitz from Lamar's blind side to deny him the natural rollout to his right, and you time it so that the quick over route has no chance of developing to get open. Putting the Ravens behind the sticks as they are knocking on the door of the red zone is a key in this drive that eventually stalled out and led to a missed field goal. Next, we'll take a look at the offensive side of the ball, and this play early in the third quarter is a perfect example of how the Bills out-prepared the Ravens going into the game. It's 2nd and long as they are just at midfield lining up in a gun trips formation running a clear-out pattern to the right side of the field, consisting of a deep go route on the outside and a quick spacing route from Cole Beasley, designed to draw out the defensive attention both vertically and horizontally and opening up the little 7 route in between by Stefon Diggs going at the sideline. Similar to the last play that we looked at, the Bills also bring a man in motion, sending the running back out of the backfield into the flat before the play. As the linebacker mirrors him before the snap, Josh Allen correctly identifies the man coverage and makes the right decision on the play. You see, Tyus Bowser, the linebacker for the Ravens, is showing what we call a sugar blitz, an alignment of second-level defensive players in a 2-point stance on the line of scrimmage, typically hovering over one or both A-gaps. The idea is to cause a disruption in the blocking scheme of the offense, not knowing whether the blitz will come or not, and exploiting the natural role of the center as the shifting point of the offensive line. It's called a sugar blitz because they're supposed to bait the interior alignment out of position to open up another gap which the actual blitz will be sent through. The Minnesota Vikings run this a lot, and it's part of the reason why teams like Kevin Stefanski's Browns, who are basically a clone of the Mike Zimmer scheme, manage to get pressure with 4 people so consistently. You should have a look at my previous video if you want to see a bit more in-depth analysis on that. But in this case, the Ravens are running a Texas or tackle to end stunt, with number 49 looping around the entire line. Tyus Bowser is caught in a tough spot here. He's key to making the stunt work with his sugar alignment, but he also has a man coverage on the running back, and the motion forces him to show his cards. Notice how the Bills' offensive linemen communicate before the snap. They're announcing the shift towards the left side, anticipating the exact stunt the Ravens are running, and not being fooled out of position by the bait. And how did the Bills know what was coming? because the Ravens tried this exact concept against them before, when the two teams faced up in Week 14 of the 2019 season a bit over a year ago. On this play, they brought the exact same stunt and actually got pressure on Josh Allen against a 5-wide concept. Being able to use this design again and with the additional sugar linebacker in the divisional playoffs was a tempting call for the defensive coordinator Don Martindale, and this is where the Bills outprepared the Ravens in this game. Only because they went back and rewatched the film from their 2019 encounter, they were able to work an answer to this stunt into their game plan, and it worked out to perfection. It's a very simple answer at its core. You test for the coverage by bringing the motion out. If the linebacker doesn't follow, they're in zone and Josh Allen has the running back in the flat for an easy makeshift screen to your playmaker in space. If he does follow, you accomplish two things. You know it's man coverage, and you caught the Ravens red-handed, trying to disguise a stunt they showed you before. From there, it's as easy as the offensive line correctly adjusting their slide protection towards the looping defender, and Josh Allen sitting on Stefon Diggs' 7 route that is pretty much guaranteed to beat man coverage for an easy completion. The Ravens are beaten on this play before the ball is ever snapped, and Josh Allen and Sean McDermott knew it. And they knew it because they went back and studied this defense's tendencies and proactively prepared to exploit them. This play was the key first down on the drive that would result in the Bills' go-ahead touchdown. They would never give up the lead until the end of the game. It's this type of diligent work that they are doing going into those games that will make them so hard to beat for anyone. Being able to rewind the tape, learn from your mistakes you previously made, and not only correcting them, but thinking one step ahead of your opponent is what puts teams over the top. As for them moving on to the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are defending that title, I think this is a matchup that greatly favors the Bills. You can be sure that they will look at every snap the Chiefs played all season, and they will find some ways to take advantage of that defense as well. And if you can adapt to the Ravens offense, you can adapt to the Chiefs and try to hold them to under 21 points. They are simply the best roster in the league, and they are the best prepared team in the league. Realistically, the only thing that can stop Buffalo from winning the Super Bowl is either Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers having one of those games that only they can ever have, where they just ignore the X's and O's and win the game anyway just because of how great they are. And even then, Josh Allen has shown that he can get to that level himself. The Bills are my clear odds-on favorite to win it all at this point, but regardless of how the postseason works out, this team will be a serious contender for a long time. The Bills are here to stay, and people should start preparing for them sooner rather than later. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you found it insightful, please leave me a like and consider subscribing to Beyond Football. I'm planning on covering a lot more football throughout the playoffs and during the offseason, and I also upload a weekly predictions podcast on my channel called The Scoreboard, featuring fantasy football pro Smokey Ramirez from the Atlanta Trash Talkers. Thank you once again for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one.